Shri Guru Gauranga Deviri Bhari Shri Radha Raman Bihari Ji ki jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ji ki jai. Jai Shri Vishnu Pada Paramahansa Pravajagacharya Stotra Shastri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Srila Narayana Goswami Maharaja Srila Gurudev ki jai. Tile Pravistam Vishnu Pada Stotra Shastri Srila Bhakti Vedanta Srila Narayana Goswami Maharaja ki jai. Tile Pravistam Vishnu Pada Srila Bhakti Vedanta Srila Narayana Goswami Maharaja ki jai. Jai Tile Pravistam Vishnu Pada Stotra Shastri Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj ki jai. Tile Pravistam Vishnu Pada Srila Bhakti Pragyanekeshwar Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Tile Pravistam Vishnu Pada Stotra Shastri Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Tile Pravistam Vishnu Pada Srila Paramahansa Guru Kṛṣṇa Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Jai Tile Pravistam Srila Guru Kṛṣṇa Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Sachidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Vaishnava Sabha Jagannath Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Gurupanda Guruvara ki jai. Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Gogiri Raj Maharaj ki jai. Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Jamuna Ganga Tulasi Bhakti Devi ki jai. Lalita Vishakashta Saki Vrinda ki jai. Nantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samaveda Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Tai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vandeham Shri Guru Omagyanatimirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Jana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangong Magate Gring Jat Kripatamaham Bande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Namah Vishnu Padaya Gaura Prishnaya Bhutale Shimate Bhakti Vedanta Vanaiti Namine Vandeham Bhakti Chakoram Gauranganija Prishtitam Shimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamivanam Namastubhyam Shri Radha Kanishtitam Rasayana Katam Vritam Sankirtanam Anandadam Goswaminam Vanam Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhyaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Om Vrindaya Tulasi Devaya Priyaya Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Pradidevi Satyavate Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. First of all, my Dandavat Pranams to my spiritual master, Om Vishnu Pada Stotra Shastri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta, Srila Narayana Goswami Maharaja, Srila Gurudev ki jai. And to Param Gurudeva Nitile Pravistam Vishnu Pada Stotra Shastri Srila Bhakti Vedanta, Srila Narayana Goswami Maharaja, Nitile Pravistam Vishnu Pada Srila Bhakti Vedanta, Narayana Goswami Maharaja, to all Srila Rupanu Guru Varga, all Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, to all of you, my Dandavat Pranams, to all of you who are present, rehearing this study, online study, also those who will hear in the future, those who have heard, my Dandavat Pranams, Madhubala Didi, Dandavat Pranams. So we are doing on YouTube only today, again. So if you want to say anything, questions, suggestions, comments, corrections, please write in the comments. And I'll read them out loud. So we'll continue the study of Shri Bhakti Rasayana. So we stopped in the chapter 2. Beautiful, right? So first verse. So we've seen 2 verses. So first we read about the verse of when Krishna is actually telling Baladev Prabhu, but actually he's speaking about himself. He's saying like, oh, Baladev Prabhu, this earth is so blessed to have your touch. All these trees, these animals, they're so blessed to have your touch. The Gopis are also so blessed to have you, to have your embrace. But actually Krishna is talking about himself. Remember, this was the first verse we saw. And then we saw the second verse of Bhakti Rasayana, which was a verse of the Venugit about the peacocks dancing madly while hearing the sound of the flute of Krishna. And then now we're starting chapter 3, which is, let's see, what is it about? Chapter 3. Oh, about Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, the best servant of Hari. Dandavat pranams, Indira Didi. Dandavat pranams, Gaurangi Priya, Devidasi Didi. Dandavat pranams, Lalit Mohini Didi. Dandavat, all of you. Hare Krishna. So, chapter 3. The best servant of Hari. In the next verse, the Gopis glorify Govardhan Hill, which is not only the crown of Vrindavan, but the crown of the entire universe. So this verse now we'll read together. I hope you can read from your screen. So this verse we should all learn. It's a very, very important verse. The verse spoken by Srimati Radhika herself. Gurudeva, my Gurudeva always says, Srimati Radhika herself told this verse, which glorifies Giriraj Govardhan. In the Venugita, Srimad-Bhagavatam, 10.21.18. Okay, shall we read? It goes like this. Hantāyam adrir abalā hari-dāsa-varyo rāma-kṛṣṇa-caraṇa-sparaśa-pramodaḥ mānaṁ tanoti saha-go-gaṇayos tayor pānīya-sūyavasa-kandara-kandamūlaiḥ. This Govardhan Hill is the best of all those who are known as Hari-das, because he is feeling great jubilation from the touch of the lotus feet of Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma. With great respect, Govardhan is worshipping them by providing all their necessities, such as caves, fruits, flowers, and water for their pleasure, and for the pleasure of their cowherd friends, cows and calves. So, Vrindavan is glorious because there Krishna is playing the flute in the meadows of Govardhan, and the peacocks are dancing and becoming stunned. All of the birds and animals are listening and watching. The Gopis say hantāyam, which means they are expressing their feelings of sorrow. And there is so much ananda in it. They are disappointed because they cannot have darshan of Krishna and externally join in the festivities. Yet they are feeling increasing ecstasy as they experience it all internally within their meditation. We are abalā, means devoid of strength. Why? The female deer go near Krishna with their husbands following behind them, and there is nothing in this world to restrict them. But for us, everyone is an obstacle. Our husbands, mothers-in-law, fathers-in-law, brothers, friends. What is the greatest obstacle of all? The restrictions that exist in our own minds. Which one? Our fear of being disgraced in society. Therefore, we are abalā. Prema bhakti is something that is anugatto. Without the mercy of the spiritual master, it can never be attained. So now he's going to explain the different points about this verse. So this verse is very, very important. The Gopis are saying, hantāyam adrir abalā hari-dāsa-varyo. So this hantāyam is like, I think like in a modern English could be something like, oh my, or something like, oh my goodness. It's like, it's showing, expressing feelings of sorrow. Yet there is so much ananda in it. So the Gopis, the Gopis are saying, we have to go to Giriraj Govardhan because we are very weak. Prema Bhakti is something that is anugatya. Without the mercy of the spiritual master, it can never be attained. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Bando Moi Sabhadhana Mate. The lotus feet of the Guru are the sadma, means the shelter, for that Shri. What is Shri? The Prema Bhakti for Krishna, which exists in the heart of that Guru. This is its source. If one does not have devotion for the spiritual master, does not serve him, and is not surrendered to him in all respects, then bhakti will never come. Unless one attains his mercy, one will never ever experience bhakti and will never receive darshan of Krishna. Therefore, here the gopis are saying, Sakhi, oh my friend, for a long time we have been desiring to meet with Krishna, but our feet are unable to go there. Our eyes are unable to see him, and our hands are unable to touch him. In our helpless condition, we cannot attain his darshan. The birds and the deer and everyone else, they are allowed to receive his touch and serve him, but we are not. However, nearby is Giriraj, who is hari-dāsa-varyo, means he is the best servant of Hari. And he is Guru. If we surrender to him, if we go to him and offer puja to him and serve him, then certainly we will receive the good opportunity to serve Krishna. This is the nature of the spiritual master. Sakshadharitena samasta shastrair uktastatha bhavyata eva sabdi kintu praboja priyeva sasya bande guru shri charanaravindam. The Guru, oh, Hare Krishna. Krishanish is a Krishna Kripa Prabhu. Today I didn't open the Zoom, sorry, I was just so late, so I got in the YouTube, which was faster. Next time I can also share a Zoom link. The Guru is the one who is especially dear to Krishna. All jivas are dear to him. Yet, oh yeah, okay, instead of, oh my, yeah, alas. Is it alas or alas? Alas or alas. Like, alas. Alas is more polite, yeah? The Guru is the one who is especially dear to Krishna. All jivas are dear to him, to Krishna. Yet, by serving and receiving the mercy of such a Guru, who can actually overpower Krishna by prem, we can meet him. Otherwise, we can't meet him. All devotees performing circumambulation, parikrama of Govardhan, should visit the temple of Haridev. If one performs the entire Govardhan parikrama without first taking darshan of Haridev, then he will not receive the full benefit of his parikrama. So the gopis are saying, on the pretext of bathing in Manasi Ganga, we will first take darshan of Haridev, and then we'll go to Giriraj Govardhan, where the desires of our hearts will be completely fulfilled. Our desires will be completely fulfilled because somewhere on top of Govardhan, Krishna is taking the cows to graze and playing with his friends. There we will be able to receive his darshan, to receive his touch, and to freely mix with him. This is the main object of our lives. This should also be the main object of our lives. What is the object of our lives? Meeting Krishna and attaining Krishna service. Solely for this purpose, we are practicing sadhana. Ultimately, the sadhana practice and sadhya goal of bhakti are one and the same. For instance, that is Shravana hearing. What will we hear? The science of the Supreme Lord, and especially the nature of the illusory energy, Maya Tattva. We must understand well that which we are seeing now and which we are attached to due to our selfishness will only bring us unhappiness. Until we surrender to the feet of the spiritual master and follow the sadhana that he prescribes, we are just following the advice given to us by our own minds. When we take exclusive shelter of the Guru, he will save us from our own independence. Then we should empty our hearts completely and accept the spiritual master's order and act accordingly. We must make our hearts one with the Guru and the Vaishnavas, and one with our previous acharyas, like Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. If we keep our hearts separate, if we keep our hearts separate from them, then Maya will certainly snatch us. If we don't surrender our independence to them, then we will only act according to our own desire. We should depend solely on them. As they instruct me, I will do. I will apply all of my intelligence to carrying out their orders. Then we will be successful. Otherwise, bhakti, which is fully spiritual and has its own independent nature, will not come easily. Wow. I want to see like just a moment we can a little bit stop and let's sink in everything you read. Let's finish this page and we can do that. Let it sink in. So therefore, here the gopis are saying, by thousands of our own efforts, we will never overcome the obstacles that prevent us from meeting Krishna, such as fear of our elders and adherence to the regulations of our national dharma. They will only be able to be overcome when we attain the mercy of Giriraj. And those of us in the stage of sadhana should never leave the company of that Vaishnava who is actually qualified to be followed. So many distractions may come, but we should never leave him. This is the instruction number 1. According to his desire, we will move, and then we'll surely progress upwards in the kingdom of bhajan. But if we listen instead to the dictates of our own minds, we'll descend into the hell known as Rosotal. What kind of things does the mind tell us? The mind will say, look, take good care of your body, remain comfortable, and endeavor only for that happiness which is easily obtained. And following these instructions, we'll become trapped in the reactions to our own enjoyment and suffer. Therefore, instead, we should honor the instructions of the spiritual master, the Vaishnavas and the scriptures. Like the Gopis are saying in this verse, we are abalā. Abalā means we have no vitality in our association with the sadhus. If we are living in a temple but we never speak to anyone, and we don't have love for both the Guru and other Vaishnavas, then what will happen? We will become isolated and discouraged. Lovingly, we should speak with them, ask questions, attentively listen to their answers, and have a mood of affection and reciprocation with them in all respects. Without them, we are abalā. We have no spiritual strength. So, this verse is so important. No? Coming back. Hantāyam adrir abalā hari-dāsa-varyo. So this is one of the main verses of Rasa Tattva about Giriraj Govardhan, about Vrindavana Dham. This is one of the main verses. We should all certainly learn this verse, recited by Srimati Radhika. So what's something very important verses about this verse, important points, Gurudeva always mentions, that Srimati Radhika, she's giving Giriraj this title here, you can see in the screen, Hari-dāsa-varyo, or in different accent, Varjo, hari-dāsa-varyo. What is the meaning of this expression? All of you remember? Yes? Hari-das means servant of Hari, servant of Krishna. Varyo means the best. So Varyo in Sanskrit is exactly this is the meaning, like the best, superlative. So for superlative, you also have comparative, right? And the noun. Sorry, the adjective. Not noun. Anyway, first you have Hari-das. Then like a servant of Shri Krishna. Then you have Hari-dāsa-var. No, sorry, I made a mistake. Hari-das, Hari-das-tara, and Hari-das-varja, right? So you have the servant of Shri Hari, a better servant, and the best servant. So there are 3 devotees who are known by these different categories. So who is known to be like a servant of Shri Krishna, means a good servant, a proper servant, is Yudhishthira Maharaj. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is called Hari-das. So he is the older brother of the Pandavas. And you might have heard the history of the Mahabharata, how Yudhishthira Maharaj is completely surrendered to Krishna. He's the embodiment of truth. He's the embodiment of Dharma. He's another actually incarnation of Dharmaraj, Jamaraj, the presiding deity of death and judgment, and the truth and the religion. So he is also eternal. This is one part, but also he's an eternal associate of Krishna in Hastinapur, which is part of Dwaraka in the spiritual world too. So he is an example of always following the instruction of Krishna and always surrendering himself completely to Krishna. Like he never had the ego, I'm the king, I have these possessions, this and that. He was thinking, there's a beautiful story when Krishna asked him, what do you want? And Yudhishthira Maharaj said, I don't want anything. I just want to be with you, Keshav, only serve you. And then Krishna said, okay. And then he smiled, Yudhishthira Maharaj smiled and said, okay, ask me again. And then Krishna said, okay, what do you want? He said, okay, I want everything. I want a beautiful wife. I want a beautiful kingdom. I want, followers, everything. Why? To serve to you. So he was doing everything, Yudhishthira Maharaj, actually as a service to Krishna. He was a pure devotee. And, but we see, of course, that's, for example, in the Mahabharata, when Krishna told him to tell that Ashwatthama was dead, so that Drishtadyumna could, when Krishna told, in the Mahabharata, Krishna told to Yudhishthira Maharaj, you have to say that Ashwatthama is dead. Because Yudhishthira Maharaj would always speak the truth, right? So if he would say that, everybody would believe. But Ashwatthama was not dead. Ashwatthama, he was the son of Dronacharya. And he had a benediction that he would not die for 4 yugas. So actually he's still alive in Vrindavana. Maybe Indira Didi has seen him. Anyway, Gurudeva says, no, sometimes some people see him in Vrindavan, very tall, because he's from Dwapara Yuga. So he's still alive. So he couldn't die in the war of Kurukshetra. He was not going to die because he has this benediction. But Krishna asked Yudhishthira, say that Ashwatthama is dead. Why? Because they wanted to make his father, which is Dronacharya, like stop fighting and become very like morose because of the departure of his son. It was a trick, so that at that moment Drishtadyumna, the brother of Draupadi, could kill Dronacharya. But what happened? Yudhishthira Maharaj said, no, how can I say that Ashwatthama, like he's not really dead? Like he didn't want to not follow his dharma, his virtuous religious qualities because of Krishna, even though Krishna had instructed him. Then what happened? Krishna told Bhim, okay, kill that elephant called Ashwatthama. And then Bhima did that. And then Krishna told Yudhishthira, okay, now you have to say that Ashwatthama is dead. And then what happened? Yudhishthira Maharaj said, Ashwatthama, what is the Sanskrit word? Ashwatthama ranehata manava kunjarova, right? Which says, Ashwatthama ranehata, like Ashwatthama is dead in the battlefield, but is it an elephant or a human being like this? But in the time when he said this, elephant or human being, Krishna played the conch. So no one would hear the last part. So the father of Ashwatthama, which is Dronacharya, heard that part and became like completely upset, stopped fighting and meditating to help his son, the soul of his son. And at that time, Drishtadyumna, the brother of Draupadi, came and cut his head off. Why I'm saying this? Because this is an example, according to the pastimes, of course, everything is a pastime, that in that moment, Yudhishthira Maharaj didn't follow that instruction of Krishna. And it's explained that he had to see the hell for a little bit of time because of that. But there's all pastimes to teach us. He's actually, of course, we know that Yudhishthira Maharaj originally is a pure devotee, eternal associate of Lord in Hastinapur. So he's known as Hari-Das. Then we have Hari-dāsa-Tara, which is the better servants of Shri Hari, who we see Uddhava. So Uddhava is like the best friend of Krishna in Mathura and Dwaraka, right? That verse from Shukadeva Goswami, Srimad-Bhagavatam says, that Vrishnam Prabharo Mantri, Krishna's Dadaita Saka, Shisha Brihaspati Sakshat, Uddhava Buddhi Satamam. Uddhava has 6 qualities. What are these? So Vrishnam Prabharu, he's like the best in the Vrishni dynasty, means Yadu dynasty. Mantri, second quality, he's the advisor of Krishna. Vrishnam Prabhamantri, Krishna's Advaita Saka, he's the very dear friend of Krishna, best friend of Krishna. The third quality. Fourth quality, Shisha Brihaspati Sakshat, direct disciple of Brihaspati, the guru of demigods. Uddhava Buddhi Satamam. Uddhava Buddhi, he's very, very intelligent. He's very intelligent, very sharp, intelligent. And 6 qualities, Satyamam, means he is very calm and quiet. And he takes decision in a very calm way, thinking carefully, everything, like measuring all the sides before making a decision. And in a very, very calm way, he'll make decisions. So he has 6 qualities. And beyond, like even better than Uddhava, then we have Giriraj, which Shrimati Radhika calls him hari-dāsa-varyo. So like I was saying, varyo means the best. Maybe Param Gurudeva will describe about this later on. But it's just at this point I'm saying our Gurudeva, he always speaks about this in relation to this verse. This is one of his favorite kathas. Okay, I think many of you have heard him say about this. And then, so why Giriraj is the best servant? The question comes. Because he's serving the intimate pastimes of, many pastimes of Krishna in the Sakya Ras and all, but especially Madhurya Ras, because Giriraj provides also caves where Radha and Krishna can meet, the very intimate pastimes. He provides also food for Krishna and his friends and the Gopis, like, the trees with fruits, flowers, minerals so that they can paint their body, decorate. He provides waterfalls with warm water in the winter. Oh, that's good, huh? And cold water in the summer. He provides everything for their pleasure, like the whole setup, the environment completely. He provides amazingly. And he is in the form of a stone, right? So actually he's giving that because of course if you're in front of a stone, example, in the shower, you're alone, so you're like not shy to be changing clothes and things like that. So because he's in a stone form, Gopis and Krishna are very comfortable to perform their pastimes in front of him. And actually the glory of Vrindavanadam is Giriraj. Like Brihat Vrindavana, the great Vrindavan is only glorious because of Giriraj, Govardhan, where the sweet intimate pastimes of Krishna take place. And the two eyes of Giriraj Govardhan is Radha Kund and Shama Kund. So Govardhan is like Rupa Goswami describes in the Upadeshamrita, right? From all the Vaikuntha Lok, better is Dwaraka, right? Like an example, from all Vaikuntha, actually we have what? Ayodhya is better. Then from Ayodhya, what is better? Dwaraka. From Dwaraka, what is better? Mathura. From Mathura, what is even better? Vrindavan, right? Where Krishna performs beautiful pastimes. And then from Vrindavan, what is even better? Giriraj, because Krishna lifted with Giriraj. And the best place in Giriraj is Radha Kund, which is the topmost place which exists in this existence. So why I'm saying this? Because this verse is very important, because Srimati Radhika is saying, you're the best servants of Shri Hari. You serve him in so many ways. So the second line saying, Yad rāma-kṛṣṇa-caraṇa-sparaśa-pramodaḥ, when Krishna touches your feet, like, performing pastimes with me, and also many meanings, like I can say Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma touching your feet, touching their feet on you, you have ecstasy, all the trees will be like the horripilation, hair in a horripilation of Giriraj. The waterfalls will be like Giriraj crying in ecstasy, feeling the touch of Krishna's feet. Very beautiful. And Srimati Radhika says, you provide roots, fruits, water, everything they need. But the point here that Param Gurudeva, you might ask, why Param Gurudeva is making this comparison? So now when we read the meaning of this verse and the explanation of Param Gurudeva, he was saying about what? Do you remember? We're reading about Guru Tattva. How without the mercy of Guru we cannot progress, right? So why Param Gurudeva started saying this in this verse? Because of this word here, abalā. Srimati Radhika is telling her friends, we are very abalā, means weak in the spiritual life. Like in the case of the Gopis, it means we cannot be with Krishna. We are far from him. We are not like the deer, the animals that can just freely meet with Krishna. Like we have the restrictions of society, the fear of being, defamed, the fear of being criticized by the society, by our superiors, by fear of breaking the rules, right? Because the Gopis externally they are married to someone else. They're not married to Krishna. How can they meet him? So in this sense, abalā means weak, means this, like we cannot be with Krishna because of so many obstacles. So the comparison is, we are also weak in our spiritual life. We are blind by ignorance in the Maya and everything. But who can give us bhakti? Gurudev. He can give us the self-realization. If we surrender to him, follow his instructions, and follow the process he's giving, and give our independence to him. So there's a very famous verse, maybe Param Gurudeva will quote later, but also Gurudeva always mentions this verse that I will tell now, related here. He says, that verse that says, Mahat Kripa Bina Kona Bhakti, sorry, I forgot the verse. Mahat Kripa Bina Kon Bhakti Kanai Samsara Nahe Koi. Krishna Bhakti Durumile Samsara Nahe Koi. This verse says, I'll open here for you. Mahat kripa bina kon bhakti karmanai, kon bhakti, mahat kripa bina kona bhakti. This verse is here in this small book, page 94. Mahat kripa bina kon karme bhakti nai, Kṛṣṇa bhakti dure raho samsara nahi khai. Came back. The verse came back to my mind. Mahat kripa bina kon karme bhakti nai, samsara Kṛṣṇa bhakti dure raho samsara nahi khai. Meaning of this verse. Unless a person is blessed by an exalted saint, none of the activities he performs can be considered bhakti. What to say of attaining Kṛṣṇa bhakti? It is impossible for him to even extricate himself from material existence. Mahat kripa bina, without the mercy of a mahat, means a pure devotee. Kona karme bhakti nai, whatever we're doing is actually not bhakti. Kṛṣṇa bhakti dure rahu, what to speak of really attaining Kṛṣṇa bhakti? Samsara nahekai, even our material entanglement will not be reduced without the mercy of mahat. So who is mahat? The pure devotee who is giving us shelter and mercy and harikata. Srila Gurudev. So that's why Param Gurudeva is saying this. Just like the Gopis are taking, I thank you, Prabhu, yes. Mahat kripa bina kona karme bhakti nai, Kṛṣṇa bhakti dure rahu samsare nahekoi. So in the same way that the Gopis are taking shelter of Giriraj to be able to see Krishna, because Giriraj is the best servant of Krishna, and that by his blessing they will be able to overcome all the obstacles and attain the company of Krishna. In the same way, for us sadhakas, without the mercy of Guru, we can never attain the self-realization, can never attain anything in bhakti without his mercy. So, Guru Shushushaya Bhaktya Sarva Labdhanena Cha Sangena Sadhu Bhaktanam Ishvara Aradhanena Cha. What we have to do? Completely surrender to Guru, give him everything we have, body, mind, words, possessions, everything, and give everything in his service. If we want to attain self-realization, that's the only way. And it may sound a lot. I don't know, for example, Lalit Mohini Didi, she just took initiation. So what is the process actually? We go step by step, slowly. For example, how Param Gurudeva is saying, we have to follow. What is sadhu sangha? What is actually to be in the company of a pure devotee? What is actually associating with the Guru? Is to follow his instructions. So the first step is to follow his instruction. That's the first, and everything is in there. So Gurudev told us, he gave us a japamala, he gave us the holy name, he'll give us Diksha mantra in case some Lalita Mohini Didi, hope soon you take Diksha, and those who haven't taken Diksha. So he gave us Harinam, Maha Mantra, and the Diksha mantra. So he told us, chant every day, progress, slowly chanting and meditating and thinking about Krishna, like Harikatha, hearing Harikatha, thinking about the philosophy, study the philosophy, read books, all that Gurudeva told us. Remember, hear Harikatha and remember Harikatha. Study the Shastras, chant fixed round every day. He gave us many instructions like this. So like this is the minimum. We have to do that every day. And then by this, actually, we're giving our time, our mind, our self, I forgot the word, free will to Krishna, to Gurudev, through Gurudev, right? Because Gurudev is directly Lord in front of us, giving instructions how to attain to Lord. And then slowly, the more we do that, then it will come to a point, like you see, like actually everything we should ask Gurudev. What is surrender? Everything we ask. Should I do this? Should I do that? Everything in our lives, every step, asking Gurudev, what should I do? And following that sincerely. Then this is the way to attain the topmost wealth of bhakti. So we're reading here, we read about this. And then we read about Harideva also. Haridev, right? Param Gurudeva mentioned Haridev. Sorry, before that, Param Gurudeva said that all jivas are dear to Krishna. Yet, by serving and receiving the mercy of such a guru who can actually overpower Krishna by prem, we can meet him. Otherwise, we cannot meet him. So our Gurudevas, now they always say, what happens? Krishna is controlled by love. But Krishna doesn't want to be controlled, right? Because if you're controlled, then you're like subservient to that person. So Krishna, like, he doesn't want to give prema very easily. He wants to cheat people with dharma, artha, kama, moksha, pleasure, material things, temporary things. He does not give prema easily, right? because if Krishna gives prem to someone, he's going to be controlled by that person. But Gurudeva controls Krishna with his love. And then by the mercy of Gurudev, we can attain also that same kind of mood. And then another point Param Gurudeva said about Harideva. So those who have been to India, those who haven't yet, I recommend everybody go with Gurudev in the parikrama. So this Haridev temple is a very small temple next to Manasiganga in Govardhan. And it's actually a deity established by Krishna's great-grandson, Vajranabh, 5,000 years ago. So Haridev in that place is actually exactly the place where Krishna lifted Giriraj. And that place is where he lifted Giriraj, the mountain. And this Thakurji is there, which is Asian Thakurji. And without having darshan of Haridev, our parikrama is not complete. So then Param Gurudeva now here told something very, very important. He was saying about this surrender to Gurudev and not hearing our own minds. That was very also important. We read here today, huh? How actually our minds take us to hell. But so the whole process of, like Gurudeva sometimes explaining this way, we are now in a position where we are actually possessed by the ghost of Maya. Means the ghost of the material condition. Because our soul is eternal, our soul is transcendental, a servant of Krishna, but now it's completely covered by the subtle body and the gross body, bound by the material modes of nature, sattva, raj, and tama, and lives of impressions in this material world, bad impressions. So what happens? Our soul. So what happens? Our mind is all, because of our mind is completely conditioned. Our mind is only taking us more and more to this material world with the short-term happiness. So here Param Gurudeva is saying, the mind will where was it? He said, the mind will only take you, here, look. Your mind will always take you to Rasatal, to the hell. What kinds of things does the mind tell us? Your mind will say, look, take good care of your body, remain comfortable, and endeavor only for that happiness which is easily obtained. So this is something very important. The more we develop our spiritual life, what happens? The more we should what? Have the desire to progress in our spiritual life. Not only stay in that same comfortable position, but progress more. And the mind only wants generally what is easily obtained. I give an example. Very easy to understand. Example, you're becoming old and you cannot eat anymore all that French fries, all of that cream cheese. You cannot eat that anymore, all of that, sugar, for example. But your tongue still wants to enjoy that taste, which is so delicious, yummy, right? And you've been eating that all your life, even though it's not that good for your health, you're so used to it, so it's like an addiction. So, but you have to stop because otherwise you're going to die quicker if you don't stop, example. And then what you have to do, you have to control your mind, use your intelligence. Even though this is good, I cannot eat it, because you want to attain something higher, which is to live longer. So in the same way, your mind generally will always take you to the immediate sense gratification, to immediate pleasure of your senses. Not thinking in the future, not thinking this is good or bad, nothing. But the duty of our intelligence is to stop the mind. And the intelligence will say, this is good, this is bad. And of course, later, because this is also the subtle body is composed by mind, intelligence, ego, and heart, right? So there's a process when we make a decision, how actually the mind gives us a suggestion and the intelligence filters it and decides according to good or bad, should do or not do. But later, of course, comes the ego. And then the ego is like, yeah, I'll do, or like, I'll not do. The ego will give that power, like, backing up, yes, not do, or yes, will do. But ultimately, everything also depends on the heart. It means the chitta, according to the previous life's impressions, will choose one thing or another also. That's also very powerful. So sometimes Gurudev gives example in some classes. Example, he has given in the past. Maybe if someone finds this class, would be really nice. When you see a mosquito. Mosquito is like biting you or something. Then the immediate reflection is just to put your hand like this, right? To try to beat the mosquito or something, or make the mosquito fly away. But the process which happens in the subtle body until you do that, it seems like it's a reflection because it's so quick. But actually, there's a process in the subtle body that comes up, builds up until that action is made. So sometimes Gurudev has explained, and which is like this. But of course, if we found a class, we could see in details the whole explanation of Gurudev. But it's like this because subtle body is made by mind, intelligence, ego, and chitta, which is the heart, which are where all the samskaras are. So like I was telling before, that's how the decision will go slowly, slowly. The mind will say something, like any kind of thought, crazy thoughts and things like that. Generally something which is very temporary, something which is immediate satisfaction, not thinking if it's good or bad. And then intelligence will filter, this is good or this is bad. And then the ego will back up whatever the intelligence, if the intelligence is strong, and in the chitta means the heart has also good samskaras backing up the intelligence, then the ego will also back up and say, yes, I will do, or yes, I'll not do. So that's why it's so important in this life. You may say, oh, in this life I struggle so much. I still don't have so much desire to, practice my spiritual life. Not so much desire to stop bad things that are actually against my spiritual life. Yes, okay, but what you should do, still should expose yourself as much as you can to spiritual life. Means Guru, Krishna, Hari Guru Vaishnavas, everything that gives Sukriti, everything which gives good impressions. Because these impressions will impress in your mind, and in the next life, that will help you a lot in your spiritual life. So don't be discouraged if in this life maybe, I have so many anartha, so many things bringing me to material, thoughts and things like that. But we should still expose ourselves as much as we can to the spiritual practice with our body, mind, and words. So if we follow the mind, we'll only be trapped in the reactions of our own enjoyment and suffer. Therefore, we should always honor the instruction of the spiritual master, Vaishnavas, in the scriptures. So we should completely surrender to Gurudev and ask him everything in our life and follow all his instructions as much as we can, completely. So like Arjuna told Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, Shishasteham Shadi Mantam Prapanam. I'm your disciple and I completely surrender to you. You may criticize me, you may correct me, you may praise me. Doesn't matter. I am your disciple. So disciple, what is actually the word for disciple in Sanskrit is Shisha, which comes from the verbal root shas dhatu, which means one who is under discipline, one who is under chastisement, right? One who is under the constant, discipline. So that's actually the definition of a disciple. So continuing here, Param Gurudeva mentioned this verse here. Now continue on page 29. Actually, let me see how many more pages. Oh, maybe we stop here. Let me see. 29. Okay, maybe read one more page. Page 29. So here, there's a beautiful verse of the Stavamala by Rupa Goswami Pad. So this verse is so beautiful. It says like this. But this is only the two first lines. But this is a very beautiful verse. Who wants to search this verse? It's a beautiful verse. It says, Prachinanam bhajanam atulam dushkaram shrunatome nairashyana jwalati hari-dāsa-varyo bhakti leshalasasya. This verse, what it's saying is like this. How did previous great personalities obtain their most cherished objectives? For 60,000 years, Kashyap Rishi and Aditi stood on their hands and went without eating, drinking, and even breathing. After they performed such severe austerities, Narayana appeared and offered them a boon. Kashyap Rishi said, we desire a son like you. We desire a son like you. We desire a son like you. Narayana replied, where will you get a son like me? Therefore, I myself will come as your son. And because he had asked 3 times, Narayana became their son in 3 separate births. We can see that what severe austerities Hiranyakashipu performed to obtain only material things. For acquiring his own planet, Dhruva Maharaj performed very severe austerities. Someone offered Sanatana Goswami a quilt, but fearing that it may make him sleep more, he said, burn it! But on the contrary, what are we doing? With great pleasure, all day we are eating, sleeping, joking, laughing, quarreling, and in the midst of all, we chant a little bit of Harinam. Relatively easily, we can rid ourselves of our worldly attachments, but that rare prem which we are aspiring for will not come if we're going on like this. We must have great eagerness, always thinking, how will I meet Krishna? Once, Bhagavan gave Narada Rishi his darshan and then immediately disappeared. And Narada began crying profusely. Why did he disappear? Inside you there is not sufficient eagerness. Therefore, I have come to increase your eagerness for attaining my association. In your present form, you cannot always remain with me, Narayana told to Narada Rishi. But when your eagerness to be with me becomes sufficiently intense, you will automatically shed your present body, and then you will always be able to see me. This is Narayana telling Narada. But Param Gurudeva telling us now. But our bhajana is not filled with eagerness and intensity. If our hearts are not completely melted, we will never meet Krishna. So there's only one hope. We are standing on the shores of the ocean of your kindness. And if even one drop of that ocean falls upon us, then our lives will become meaningful. Our only hope is that sometime or other we will meet him. Therefore, if we are fortunate enough to acquire the company of a real Vaishnava, we should stay with him and adopt his ways, hoping that one day we will receive the direct mercy of Krishna. Wow. So, okay, let's finish one more page. Therefore, if we are fortunate enough to acquire the company of a real Vaishnava, we should stay with him and adopt his ways, hoping that one day we'll receive the direct mercy of Krishna. The Gopis are saying, we are abalā because our feet are unable to take us to Krishna. Thousands of people will see us and say, where are you going? Or will they say to our parents, where is your daughter going? She has become a disgrace to your family. Param Gurudeva says, it is like this in modern times as well. When a family member begins to engage in bhajan in spiritual life, if a son or daughter drinks and smokes, goes to the cinema and keeps illicit connections with the opposite sex, then the family members think nothing of it. But if someone leaves everything for bhajan, for spiritual life, they say that he or she has become a disgrace to the family. If a sadhu hears about this, what will he say? Because he has taken up to bhajan, he has become the lamplight of the family. And hearing of this, that person's forefathers, whether they are in Pritiloka or whatever, will begin dancing. Now a devotee has appeared in our family. So we'll stop here, but let's just let's sink in what we read now. So page 30, we stopped here. So that's something very, very important Param Gurudeva is saying here. Many, many points. So first of all, the point we read about this verse from Rupa Goswami, Prachinanam bhajanam atulam dushkaram shnatome. So if we hear about the sadhana and bhajan that these other rishis and devotees that they performed, Dhruva, Prahlada, like he gave example, Kashyapa and Aditi, right? Who were in the Prishna and Sutapa. They worshipped Narayan for 60,000 years and Lord became their son. They even came as Devaki and Vasudeva in the last birth, and Narayana came as Krishna. Krishna appeared to them. So even if you think about in our own life, near us, right? How did the Goswamis of Vrindavan perform bhajan and sadhan, right? Spending one night under each tree, forsaking sleepiness, position, even eating, just to and completely absorb in the pastimes of Krishna and writing books and glorifying the divine couple. And even if you think about even closer to us, how Param Gurudeva performed his spiritual life, how our Gurudev performed has performed his spiritual life, completely surrendered to his Guru. And like daily, right, our Gurudev actually giving up his own comfort, his own, like everyone who's been with Gurudev knows how he barely sleeps. He's always traveling from one place to another to spread the mercy and the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Guru Varga, not caring for his own well-being, just the well-being of others. So completely surrendered to the service of Hari Guru Vaishnavas. So if you think about them, we think we have no chance at all. If you think about all this, you think, no, I'll never be able to attain Krishna, never. Because I'm not in that position yet, right? I'm very, very far from having that kind of renunciation, dedication, so nothing. But we only have one hope. Our only hope is that Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, promised that he will deliver all the living entities in the Kali Yuga through the chanting of the holy names. So this is our only hope that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said he would deliver. And he's giving, which is the highest thing, to the lowest of the men, which is us in Kali Yuga, the lowest jivas, without any kind of bhajan and sadhana, no kind of karma, jnana, tapasya, no any kind of, good qualities of renunciation and concentration and meditation and nothing. Only so many simple activities, completely absorbing sense gratification. Like Param Gurudeva said, you're all very just eat, quarreling, laughing, enjoying, and you chant a little bit. So you're just eating, sleeping, joking, and a little bit you chant Harinam. We're just doing a little bit. But we should not be desperate, thinking, okay, I'll never attain, what's going to happen? No. What is the process? Utsaha nishadairat. We should have utsaha, always enthusiastic, thinking, yes, I have to perform spiritual life, even though, I so many obstacles, my own mind, all this materialistic conditioning, but I have to practice this kind of enthusiasm and very enthusiastic. Nishchayad, with firm faith. Yes, one day, sooner or later, I'll attain. By the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, might take lives and lives. Like Mukunda, he was happy when Mahaprabhu told, I'm giving you mercy after Koti Janma, means Shata Koti Janma, which was 100 million births, or maybe 10 million. Anyway, but millions and millions of births. Only after that, Mahaprabhu would give him mercy. And he became so happy because he thought, yes, definitely one day I'll receive this mercy. Since time immemorial, I'm taking birth in this material world. What is million of lives more? 10 million lives. Mahaprabhu will give me mercy. So he was so happy. So you should have this kind of nishtha, this firm faith, and dhairya, and also patience. We should also be patient. So we should also have some patience sometimes with ourselves too. Because some people becomes we can say fanatic, or too much trying to do too much, then also sometimes they can also too much more they can. In Portuguese we have a saying which is giving a step bigger than your own leg. But I think in English you might have a similar saying, which is you try to do too much, more than you can. And some people then for some time they seem so much enthusiastic. That Utsahama is so enthusiastic, so much, I'm gonna become a Gopi in one night. But then what happens? Then they see that's not possible, and then sometimes they give up everything, disappear. So we shouldn't do like that. We should, of course, always be enthusiastic, and should also not be always comfortable. Okay, I'll just stay here, doing very, very slowly. No. It's not one, not the other. Not completely fanatic, thinking more than you can, then in a way which is artificial and probably will take you to become how to say, will make you in the end far from bhakti, because you think you did too much, didn't get anything, and then you're okay, so I prefer materialistic life. But also we shouldn't be also so much how to say, indulging, so much okay, I'll stay here, but just a little bit. No, we should always have enthusiasm to try more, endeavor more. Okay, I'm chanting 4 rounds. Okay, oh Krishna, please give, and praying, Lord, please give mercy, I can chant 8 rounds every day. Oh, I'm dedicating this amount of time to read the books and absorbing seva. Oh Lord, please give me more, that I can chant more, do more seva. Like this, we can slowly increase. So that's the way. And always thinking about the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's our only hope. And then because the mood we want to attain, which is the topmost mood of Goloka Vrindavan, becoming the maid servant of Srimati Radharani, is the highest mood. So to attain that actually is very, very, we have to have a spiritual qualification of intense eagerness. And to have that intense eagerness is not easy. Means it's a real greed. Real greed to come. Real greed. You need like many lives of hearing Harikatha, and that will create an impression, a strong impression in your heart. And then you have lobha, that desire, real desire to attain that mood. And then you perform all the 64 limbs of bhakti diligently. And that time you'll always be absorbed in Vrindavan, serving in your mind. So for us now, what we should do is follow the Vaidhi Bhakti, means following the prescribed duties, especially whatever is our duty in society, and at the same time chanting early in the morning, chanting holy names, fix around, try to worship Thakurji, or at least like the Vaidhi Bhakti, having some Vaidhi Bhakti, offering the food before eat, all that Vaidhi Bhakti, following Ekadashi always. And then, but also Vidhi Marga Ratna Jane, Swadhinata Ratna Dane, Raga Marga Korna Pravish. At the same time, hearing Harikatha from Gurudev, from this sadhu who has accepted us and is giving us mercy. And then by hearing Harikatha, like Gurudev says, this life just hear Harikatha. Next life you'll practice bhakti. Because by hearing Harikatha, that's so powerful that will create an impression in our heart, in our mind, in the chitta, And they'll create a strong impression. And then by this impression, one day, then the real desire to, yes, I need to attain. And that will become the most important things in our lives. Like all the time our mind was just thinking, how can I attain Krishna? That will come by Harikatha. So, and the last point Param Gurudeva said, just to wrap up, he mentioned about the importance of a Vaishnava in the family. So Gurudeva always tells a story also of some person who was suffering the hell, and the Jamadutas, they were putting this person in the pond of stool again and again, almost drowning him in the pond of stool for him to pay for a sin. And then suddenly this person started laughing like, ha, 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 like this. And the Jamadutas asked, why are you laughing? You're like almost drowning in the stool. What, like, in the hell. Sorry. And then this person said, oh no, but I see in my vision that a Vaishnava took birth in my family. So tomorrow, all of you will be drinking the water that has bathed my feet. So if one Vaishnava takes birth in a family, all those forefathers, the previous generations of that family, get deliverance. They get the opportunity to get sadhusanga and also develop their spiritual life. And so that's very important. So the best help we can do to our family is actually becoming ourselves devotees. And if we do that, they will get benefit 100%. So actually our family should be happy if we are serious in our spiritual life. But like Param Gurudeva is saying, unfortunately in Kali Yuga is generally the opposite, right? Generally someone strange is someone who is actually becoming a devotee, and those who are like normal is someone who is just like going to parties, having what they say normal life, right? Completely materialistic, engaged in the dating and all these things, and completely like just materialistic life. That's what people call normal. So now we'll finish here, and next class on next Monday, we'll read more about hari-dāsa-varyo Govardhan. If someone wants to say anything, comment, a correction, something to add up or question, please put in the comments. Otherwise, we'll finish here now today. And if possible, I would like to ask those who are watching this class, if you can, I think it will be good if you can, try to learn this verse for next class. If you want to take up to the TED challenge, we can even maybe on Zoom, every one of you put your video and recite the verse. I know it's a long verse, 4 lines, but we have 1 week. And we have the beautiful melody in which Gurudeva always sings this verse, which makes it easier. For those who are above 60, don't worry, because Gurudeva says after 60, don't need to learn any verse. So if for you it's too hard, maybe, because the brain is really different vibration after 60 years old, but at least meditate in the meaning of the verse. And if you can learn the meaning, that's good. Then you can recite tell the meaning of the verse. That's also very good, because it will the same power of the meaning. So the verse is this one. Okay, hantāyam, adrir, abalā, hari-dāsa-varyo. So those who don't know yet, please learn this verse. Okay, the meaning, and those who are young can learn the Sanskrit, and those who are older can learn the translation. I will put this verse in the description of this class on YouTube soon, and then tomorrow if you come in, it's here. It's 10:21:18. You can also look it up on Google. This is the verse. So thank you everyone. Vancha kalpatarubhyaśca kripa sindhubheva cha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Srila Gurudeva ki Jai. So our only hope is the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the mercy of Srila Gurudev, who is bringing to us this mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Only Gurudev. Gauranga belongs to Nitai. Only by the mercy of Gurudev we can attain the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu and the mercy of Mahaprabhu. So our only Guru Hi Kripa Hi Kevalam. Our only, all in all, our only hope is the mercy of Gurudev. We have no other hope. So we pray to Srila Gurudev so that we can become the recipient of his mercy. If we are able to have qualification and perform some service, that will please him. Jai Srila Gurudeva ki Jai.